talking with George about the eyewitness testimony that indicated that Michael Brown had been was standing with his hands up, versus the eyewitness testimony that suggested that he was charging at the police at Officer Wilson. The prosecutor last night, when he did his sales pitch on national television, presented basically a defense, what Shane Farnan, our associate producer, referred to as a defense closing argument, and or I would say a defense brief or whatever. Presented the defense's case, the defense of Officer Wilson, and frankly, that's not a prosecutor's job. A prosecutor's job is to present the prosecution's case, and if it's strong enough, or if there's any conflict in that. I mean, if you've got one person saying he was standing there with his hands up, and you got another person, and I saw it, and you know, which makes it murder, and you got another person saying no, he was charging at this police officer, even as the guy was shooting at him, he was coming at him like, you know, a bull toward a matador or something, and the shooting was therefore justified. When you've got two different people saying two different things that are that contradictory, that's when you have a trial. That's why, you know, the Sixth Amendment to the Constitution, that's why you have a trial before a jury of your peers, so that the evidence can be presented and the evidence can be examined. And the people making the testimony, I mean, the prosecutor, again, has implied, if not come right out and said, that some of the people who were giving exculpatory testimony, who were saying, you know, excuse me, not exculpatory, the people who were saying that exculpatory to Michael Brown, because essentially he was being put on trial here. The people who were saying that the police officer was not Officer Wilson was not justified in ultimately killing this young man, should have had an opportunity to do so before in a public court of law, my opinion. And therefore, there should have been an indictment. Now, you know, there wasn't. And in part, there wasn't because there almost never is when you're talking about a police officer shooting a civilian. And that has to do with part of that, some of that has to do with the races of the people involved, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that prosecutors live and breathe police. I mean, they work side by side with police. A prosecutor could never do their job without a good relationship, a good working relationship with the police department. And when that prosecutor then decides to take on a police officer and prosecute that person, I mean, that could be the end of their career. It could be it's just imagine. I mean, in the workplace, if you were to, I think this is one of the reasons why so rarely do people make charges like, you know, I've been sexually harassed or something, unless it reaches some incredible threshold, because, you know, they don't want to poison the workplace, as it were, or they value their job.